Oh, that one's brakes are on fire. I think our brakes might be on fire as well, actually. They are literally on fire. Hey guys, and welcome to Petrol Ped and welcome to Tokyo, Japan. Now, I'm sure you all know I'm a massive Formula One fan, but I'm actually here for the Formula E because this year I'm going to be working with Nissan to bring more information to you about Formula E, because I think there's plenty of things that happen here on a race weekend that you probably don't know about. And if you did, it might make you think differently about the race series. So, we're here at the moment, free practice has just started, I've got access to the pits, we've got access to race day tomorrow. I think the next couple of days are going to be really, really interesting. But what a cool place to have a motor race. But I'm going to spin around this way. That's the Nissan pits just there. Now, honestly, I am so excited to be here and to take you behind the scenes of the Nissan team here at the first ever Tokyo E-Prix. Nissan are the only Japanese team on the grid, so it's our home race. Very, very excited, especially after the epic battles that took place in Sao Paulo just a couple of weeks ago. So the idea here today is free practice. I want to kind of show you around a little bit, explain a few of the intricacies of Formula E, maybe compare it with Formula One. I'm sure a racing series that you are much more familiar with. Because honestly, I think there are things about Formula E, if you knew about them and understood them, and certainly some of the differences, it might make you think differently about it. So let's start to think about some of the differences between Formula One and Formula E. So first up, this steering wheel, about 7,000 euros, but there's some really interesting differences between Formula E and Formula One. And the first one, which you might not know, is in Formula E there is no telemetry, so all of the decisions about car setup have to be a discussion between the driver and the team engineer over the radio. And the first thing the driver needs to do is read this screen and relay all of the information he can say back to the driver verbally, but not in open speech because all the radio channels are open, so they have to do it by code. The engineer can then make decisions and then tell the driver what settings to make, and he can start to use some of these settings. Now, it's a very complicated thing. I've just had a briefing, but for example, these wheels here, so there are 10 different settings on here, and an engineer might say turn it to one particular position, and then each of those positions has 20 different settings which you set with these toggles on the back, and then you confirm with this one. So they might say turn to this setting, number 15, and you do 15 and then enter. There's some default scenarios that have, if you like, a particular mode where everything's set, so they might turn to that, and that might be a quicker way of doing things. So that's immensely complicated, something like 600 different combinations of stuff on there. Other things, you've got your pit limiter and full course yellow limiter. If we watch Formula One, very similar to that. The radio torque button, and then brake balance and brake bias. So again, you may well want to change the amount of regenerative braking because these cars have a huge amount of regen braking, and this toggle switch here will allow you to increase or decrease the amount of regen braking. Why you might want to do that is at high levels of regen braking, you're going to be putting a lot, these cars will recharge at up to 600 kilowatts. That's a lot of energy going into the battery. In high temperatures, that can make the battery get hot. So you might want to turn the regen braking down and use the normal disc brake a little bit more until the battery cools down. And then you've got finer balancing and tuning here. So, you know, when you look at Formula E, the Formula E drivers have a huge workload. You've got all of this complexity, and just the final thing is the steering wheel itself is a standard default steering wheel for every team, but then each team can work out what the different settings are, what the various buttons do, where the buttons are. So there's a huge amount of customization. But that, for me, you know, when you look at a Formula E driver, hats off to them, because they're driving around a street circuit as fast as they can, making all of these really complicated changes, speaking in code, being spoken to in code. Really complicated. Another big difference between Formula E and Formula 1 is all of the cars are exactly the same, and they have to last the whole season pretty much. In fact, the chassis and batteries are designed to last all 4 seasons of a particular generation. Now, we've got the driver or the front end nose cones from the Nissan here, but the actual nose cone itself comes directly from Formula E, and at the end of each race the car is packed up in a container. The teams only have 7 tons of allowance in terms of freight, and the cars will go from here directly to the next race. So if there's any damage, then basically the car gets packed up, damaged, gets to the next race and has to be fixed at the next race. So on site, the noise that you can hear in the background behind this tent is an on-site carbon fibre working station and a printing station, because these wings are set up for Tokyo. We've got We Love Tokyo and the Sakura blossom here because this is the week that the cherry blossom comes out into blossom. And there's actually an on-site vinyl printing and wrapping facility here, so the teams can take a black carbon fibre nose cone from Formula E, should it have been damaged in the previous race, and they can basically make it look like the team livery, and this is a bespoke livery for this week. So I love the sustainability side of things. Just 7 tons, that's everything. The pit garage is set up by Formula E, but all of the internal garage settings, you know, the tool chests, the storage, all of the hospitality, everything has to be within that 7 tons, including the car, by the way. So let's take a look behind the black curtain. So here is a car chassis just in black bare carbon, and you can see hints of the Tokyo specific livery, and over there you can actually see someone putting the wrap on. So this is a carbon fibre rework place where if there's any damage, but yeah, putting specific livery on. And then the most impressive thing is that is also printed here as well, just to kind of reduce the amount of flight time. And over there we've got all the different sponsor stickers. Just so cool. Very, very cool indeed. So cars just come in, they've just changed the tyres over now. Unlike Formula 1, they only have 2 sets of tyres for the whole weekend per car. So they come in, you'll notice they're just checking the pressures and then they put a wrap over them. But yeah, 2 sets. They're effectively, they'll work in the dry, work in the wet. And that's all about the sustainability message. Really interesting. You can hear the cars in the background. Anyone who says Formula E doesn't make a noise, they're really, really noisy. But that is the end of our garage tour. It's very nearly the end of free practice. We've had a long day, we're going to head back to the hotel now, but tomorrow we're back for race day and plenty more information for you about Formula E. It's just so cool to be here. We've got to be cheering on the home team. Come on, Nissan! The sun is shining and it's race day, people. It's race day. So we're just at the end of qualifying. Actually, I've been here a couple of hours already, but what a setting. I'm on the Nissan grandstand. Nissan motorsport fans, or Japanese motorsport fans in general, actually are pretty hardcore. Here we go, it is the final in qualifying. Maximilian Gunther against Ollie Rowland. 1 flying lap, so they go out, installation lap, 1 flying lap. Let's see if he can put it on pole. Okay, first time check, he's 3/100ths down. Come on, Tony, he's back. He's 5/100ths ahead now. Come on! Come on! 2 tenths. 2 tenths. Come on, son, 2 tenths up. Still got a lead, just under 3 tenths. Come on. Oh, he's caught him a bit, still Come on, this. So here he comes now, says Max. Right, come on, Ollie, let's put it on pole. He's still just over a tenth up. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh no! Yeah! Oh wow! Yes! That's what happens when a home car puts it on pole position. First Japanese E-Prix, home team, Ollie Rowland, pole position. Come on, that is wicked. Woohoo! We are lining up for hot laps. Pretty special because I've got the global CEO of Nissan just there behind me. And he's wearing the same shoes by AV Custom Sneakers. So really cool. The Sakura, the cherry blossom, it was announced yesterday's official Sakura Day because it's finally come out. Perfect timing. It's the livery of the car, it's on our sneakers. So yeah, should be a good day. So let's do some hot laps. So we've got the plan now. We're going to do, I think, 2 laps as a sort of slow speed demonstration. There's the Aria Nismos, there's some Leaf race cars, there's a Gen 2 Formula E car and a camera car. We're going to do a couple of laps behind that, and then I think we're going to go and do some faster laps after that. It's about 4 or 5 laps, and then we're going to kind of end up on the grid somewhere. So it should be an above average start to race day. Well, the fact the best start is Ollie Rowland's put it on pole. All we need to just have him win the race. Yeah, very cool. This is where I hope the GoPros that I set up are all in the car and still working. Better. So this is an Aria Nismo. Very smart car. So guys, we're now in the grid. Now this is my pro driver, Tepe Natori, and he's going to look after me. We've got a very cool view. I mean, to be on the grid for the Formula E is very special. So guys, it'll be fascinating to see the layout of the track. I've been watching qualifying, and first of all, it's a street circuit, very tight and twisty, but there's some real elevation changes. There's one ramp, and the cars are actually getting airborne. Talking to the team before I got in the car, and you know, the Formula E car doesn't have a huge amount of suspension travel. So this bit here, they're actually getting airborne, and then they've got to chuck it into a tight right-hander. I think we're going to be having some racing here by the looks of it. So really interesting to see. So that's the attack mode corner, so you can one of the things to spice Formula E up is the drivers can go into an attack mode for up to 10 minutes during the race, but they have to determine exactly how they do that. So they could have a 2-minute burst and an 8-minute burst. They could have 2 4-minute bursts. They could do an 8-minute burst and then a 2-minute burst. And that's the driver's decision when they do that.
Let's go.
Let's go. Right then. Hot lap. Tokyo E-Prix circuit. Here we go. I can see you wanting to overtake. Yeah. You're like, come on, we're faster than you. Move out of the way. I can imagine that in a Formula E car, coming round the corner, you're braking and turning, and then you've got a really tight right. That is difficult, really difficult. I guess the characteristic of these Formula E tracks, because they're street circuits, this is kind of like an exhibition space, Dockland space. There's a lot of undulation and a lot of gradient changes. And it's only when you drive around the circuit that you get to feel it. You can kind of see it. You can see the cars moving around a lot, but it's only when you actually get to really tip it in there. This right-hander here, come out of here, and then you've got this jump here. Just like, wow.
Looks like a jet coaster.
Yeah, it is. Just a bit of rotation at the back. I've got to say, this Nismo Area is nothing like the Area I ran as my Hendy Group long-termer. This thing's really well set up. You can much better through the corners and the stability than a standard one. Yeah, we lucked out, guys. We definitely got the fastest driver. That felt like the brake pedal's getting a bit longer, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's going for it now. It's a great shot of having that car in front, actually, because you can really see just how much the cars are moving around. Woo. you can drive, my friend. Amazing, absolutely amazing. I think we're lining up on the grid now. Look, wow, there you go. What an amazing opportunity to see the track from this side. Now, Tori-san, you are amazing.
Thank you.
What a legend, absolute legend. Oh, that one's brakes are on fire. I think our brakes might be on fire as well, actually. They are literally on fire. Now that shows the car's been driven hard. Here he is, the legend. Absolutely amazing. What a jump. And so that car's brakes are on fire. You've done a good job. A really good job. Yeah. Well, there you go. Helmets off. What an experience that was. They're just stonking. Let's walk down the grid and just show you. So all the drivers there. This guy's literally, his brakes were on fire. That's what a legend. It's still smoking now. These little Leaf race cars, they are mega bits of kit. Let me just show you inside. Really cool in here. Proper bit of race car kit. And then I love the Sakura livery. While I've got a car here and I'm on the grid, so all of the cars are the same. Every team runs the same car. But really, from the kind of driver backwards, that's where the differences are. So each team provides the battery, the motor, the software, the traction control systems. So interestingly, the McLaren car is running the Nissan motor. And that's where they get a lot of this kind of trickle-down development. I think we're being ushered from the grid. Get off the grid, Greasy. Stop talking. So the really interesting thing is that for a manufacturer... Oh, missed that one. So straight out of the car, which is just parked still on the grid. Now we're doing a pit lane walk down all of the garages. So as I was saying on the grid, the thing I find fascinating about Formula E and why so many manufacturers are in it is the development of EVs, the electrification of many of their cars, their fleet. They want to use Formula E as a test bed to really get their head around how to optimize range and efficiency and performance. So because all the cars are the same, the chassis are the same, they're provided by Formula E, the differentiator between all of these teams is really everything behind the driver. So the front motor is standard on all cars, but the rear motor, the battery, the traction control systems, the battery control systems, battery management systems, they're all proprietary to each manufacturer. And there were guys who were saying the really interesting thing when Nissan joined Formula E at the beginning of the Gen 2 era, they had very much a road to track strategy. So they took a lot of their road car tech into the Formula E car. And what they're finding now, they're in Gen 3, is that it's the other way around, it's track to road. So now they're taking the learnings from Formula E and they're putting that into their road car program. So there's the Nissan pits over there. Hopefully we'll have a bit of a walk round and a look. So with the pits behind, let's just have a very quick chat about the cars that are in that garage. So they weigh about 850 kilos. They've got just over 430 horsepower, so they are quick. If the straights were long enough, they'll reach a top speed of 322 kilometers an hour. But for me, it's what happens at the back of the car. The front motor is supplied by the Formula E. The rear motor, the MGU, the motor generator unit, that is the realm of each of the manufacturers to develop themselves to provide that. And interestingly, Nissan, as I mentioned already, provide the MGU for McLaren as well. That MGU, not only does it propel the car forwards, but it also charges the battery. The battery pack's 41 kilowatt hours, which is actually smaller than the Gen 2 cars because they've just improved efficiency so much. The MGU can recharge the battery under braking, so there's a brake-by-wire system. So when you put your foot on the brakes, the car decides, first of all, it will prioritise regen braking, and it's going to put the energy back into the battery pack at up to 600 kilowatts. A fast DC charger that you plug your car into is that maybe 100 kilowatts. That's 6 times faster, and that means that these cars actually only need to start the race with about 60% of the power that they need to finish the race because they'll recuperate so much power during the race. The only downside of that regenerative braking is it creates a lot of heat, and that heat can start to affect the battery, so you have to manage how much you use. So if the battery's getting hot, then you might switch to more brake disc braking, traditional braking. And all of that is done by the driver and the engineers, as we mentioned yesterday, with the steering wheel. So it's a fascinating juggling act of performance. And that's why I think Formula E, it gets a hard rap. I know it doesn't have the noise of Formula 1 and the panache and the spectacle, but in terms of engineering, trickle-down engineering for the road, you know, Nissan can take learnings from this and they can start to put that development into their road car program. And I think that's why Formula E is so interesting. The race is about to start. They're getting excited. So we're going to start, or watch the start of the race from the grandstand here because it's a great view, beautiful day. So Ollie Rowland is on pole. You can see his car just there. And the thing he's got to do really, he's just got to make sure that he can lead into turn 1 and stay in front. It's quite a difficult track for overtaking. We've kind of had a drive around and seen it. It's so tight. But if he can stay in P1 going through turn 1, that's really important. So, safety car. Not quite sure what for. But Ollie's still in the lead. I don't know whether that, big thing about that now is they're driving around at a slower speed, so I guess they just have more battery to kind of go quicker. Less of an issue with running out of charge. We're going racing again, safety car's in. Ollie's just going to back them up a bit. Here they come, here they come. Ollie's dropped down into second place, and Gunther, who's in the lead, has activated his attack mode. So we've got the same amount of battery percentage left, and we've got 5 laps to go. But Roland's still got attack mode remaining, so maybe he's leaving his attack mode. Gunther's still got 2.5 minutes left. And that's one of the cool things about not only you've got to manage the battery, manage the temperatures, but you've got this attack mode. When do you deploy it? When do you save energy? When do you go full attack? Let's just hope Roland's got some left. Now here's something you don't get in Formula 1. They've just added 2 laps, I'm guessing because of the safety car. So we've now got 5 laps plus 2 to go. I didn't know they did that. Oh man, that's it. so nearly had him. He actually overtook him on the last lap and then got taken back again. But we got a podium. I'm here with Nissan for the Formula E. We came second. Woo! Congrats to Maserati for winning though. Well, there you go. The race is over. What a race. It's such close racing. And I know some of you are going to be like, it doesn't make a noise, it's not as exciting as Formula One. The cars aren't as dynamic as Formula One, but the racing, the tactics, super close. We very, very nearly caught it on the last lap there. Unfortunately, we didn't, but absolutely brilliant. Now, what I wanted to try and do with this video is take you into Formula E just a little bit more than maybe some of you have, and try and explain some of the technology behind the racing, the reason behind Nissan's participation in the racing. And I hope I've done that in a small way. It's not the last thing I'm going to be doing this year on Formula E by a long stretch. We've got lots of cool things planned with Nissan, so please stay tuned for those. I do want to say thank you to Nissan for inviting me all the way out here to Japan. A country that I've fallen in love with. The people, the food, it's just an amazing place. And to be here and experience the very first Japanese E-Prix, to have the team that we're with on the podium, can't ask for more than that. Well, we could have won. That would have been really cool. But guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Please put in the comments, what are your thoughts on Formula E? But for now, I'm going to love you and leave you. If you enjoyed that, give me a thumbs up. Comments below are always welcome. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to Petrol Ped for plenty more content to come. And I'll see you on the next film. You take care, guys. Drive safe.